Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Plinking, doing a little first impression overview. We'll kind of call it a review on this here. This is an AR-15. Specifically, it is a Blackout Defense Quantum MK2. Now, I don't blame you guys for right away just saying, oh, it's another video on an AR-15. I know there's a ton of them out there, but hear me out. This one's actually got some cool tricks up its sleeves and might be a good one to have if it's going to be your only AR-15. In fact, I was thinking about it. Among the many AR-15s I own, pretty sure this is the nicest one I have. And so we'll kind of get into it and talk about why that is. For starters, something I find quite interesting is Blackout Defense is a small family owned company out of Chandler, Arizona. Now, I don't say small family owned just for, I don't know, sympathy and you should support them just because they're a small family owned business. No, I say that because it's more impressive when you know that the founder of Blackout Defense actually has his roots and prior experience in the aerospace engineering world. And that certainly had carried over into how they machine their guns. It's actually kind of overkill, I would suppose. Now, it's cool enough to where they actually reached out to me. I've jumped on the phone with the founder of the company, and they invited me next time I'm in Arizona to check out their facility, and I certainly will if I'm in the area. But from what I've seen online, the facility is definitely more so screams aerospace engineering rather than just only building ARs. It's a very cool facility, and they kind of just over-engineer everything. And there's a lot of unique things that went into this gun in particular as well. First thing being what they call the DTL. You know, manufacturers love acronyms. DTL, or dual taper lock. The way the barrel gets mounted up to the actual receiver itself. As you would suggest from the names, there are two different tapers rather than the alternative being like a flat shoulder as a traditional barrel would be mounted up to an AR-15. Now, in their own words, it provides a push-pull relationship ensuring bore centricity of the upper receiver and barrel. I'll take it. Something I found really interesting as well is when I separate the upper and lower receiver, they have something called press lock. It's their own thing, and it's pretty much on the lower receiver. It's like this, not plastic, kind of rubbery thing, I don't know. But once the upper and lower receivers are mended together, this little thing on the front of the lower receiver kind of presses it, kind of sponges it together. Now, once you push the pins through and the upper and lower receiver are together, it is a nice tight fit, but without, you know, having pins that are so difficult to remove. This is still really easy to do so, but when it's together, that press lock feature that is proprietary to Blackout Defense, it's very simple solutions like that that make it kind of a genius thing. So yeah, pretty cool. The handguard's pretty cool in the way it mounts up too. It actually has two anti-rotation pins, so the handguard doesn't spin from itself right here. Then of course these two pins and nuts and whatever that go through here. So anyway, what I'm saying is it's a very tight fit, but I've never seen a handguard get mounted with two different anti-rotation pins on the top. Kind of cool. I've got to just take a second and just talk about the trigger alone. They're not dropping in someone else's trigger. This is their own trigger. They sell individually. The trigger individually is about $205, but of course it comes in their own rifle. Damn, it is good. So we drop the mag and we're clear. There is pretty much no take up. And by pretty much, I mean there is zero take up. The brake is so light. It's 3 pounds, the entire thing. There's no two-stage. And the reset is, it's just incredibly short. I don't know how else to say it. There's no example I can give you. It's just probably the shortest reset I've ever felt on a rifle. Yeah, it's clean, it's short. The brake is short and 3 pounds. Very light. Phenomenal trigger. If you wanted it on its own, again, $205, but it comes on the rifle. Flat trigger as well. I believe they also offer bowed triggers. And they also offer heavier triggers if you want. This 3 pounds though, quite nice. I'm good here. But that brings me to my other point. They make their own trigger, and what's really cool, and you see this on premier manufacturers, they don't just make the upper lower receiver and maybe a handguard, label that, and then outsource everything else. These guys, let's see here, a Magpul grip and a Magpul stock. I swapped out the stock for a different Magpul stock, but it came with the Magpul stock and a P-Mag. Other than that, they make everything. This is a dead air muzzle device though. Might be their own design from what I understand. I'm not too sure as far as the collaboration they had with dead air. Other than that though, the trigger is theirs. The fire selector is theirs. It's on a very short throw on an angle. It doesn't go up to 90 degrees. Crazy short. It is ambi. Very cool. That's theirs as well. Their charging handle, huge and ambi as well. That's theirs. Handguard's theirs. Of course, the receivers are theirs. The barrel is theirs. A lot of AR-15 manufacturers just make an upper receiver, lower receiver, like I said, maybe a handguard, and everything else is outsourced. Ballistic advantage barrel, someone else's charging handle. You could probably find mil-spec triggers in the dumpster nowadays. And that's about it. But a lot of things they're doing within a small company, and it's very well done to say the very least. Other specs, it's got a 13.9-inch barrel, but the dead air chemo muzzle device is pin and welded just to give it the overall length to make it legal. It's chambered in .223 Wild. In case you guys don't know what that is, I know most people think if it's 223 Remington, it can only shoot 223. That's true. And if it's 5.56, it can shoot both. Well, 223 Wild also allows you to shoot 5.56 chamberings as well as 223 Remington. The difference is, why not just go 5.56? 223 Wild, from my experience and what it's kind of claimed to be, is just more accurate. So you could load those precision 223 chamberings, and it seems to be more accurate with everything. But yeah, nonetheless, 5.56 or 223 can be ran out of a 223 Wild. So that's probably why they went with that. It's also got a 1 in 8 twist barrel. The rifle itself weighs in at 6.875 pounds, fairly lightweight, of course, before I threw on my accessories. Now we gotta talk about price point. No, it's not an economic gun. I will say though, I think the price is just right in line to where it should be. It is $2,384.99. Yes, I had to look down on my notes. I'll be honest, I'm trying to compare this to other kind of premier AR-15s, and it's just right in line. And you know it's a premier AR-15 when one, it's made well, but again, when they make so many components themselves. One company that comes to mind, and I'm gonna say it because I'm biased and they're right next to me, is Larue Tactical in Leander, Texas. Again, they like to make their own components as far as their triggers and everything like that as well. But if you look at an AR-15 made from Larue Tactical, the price point's right in line with what this Blackout Defense is. So again, usually when you go to a premier AR manufacturer, something like this, it's gonna have a comma in it, and it's probably gonna start with a 2. So this is kind of right in line. If you're only gonna have one AR-15, this might be the one. Again, in my collection, it just might be the nicest AR-15 I have. Let's go ahead and blast a couple rounds through it, get some impressions. That's nice. Oh yeah, okay. That's real nice. A lot of it has to do with that muzzle device. That is keeping the muzzle dead straight. Well, that's interesting too. I just noticed it has 2 ports on the top here that are angled that way, so it kind of keeps the gun, I don't know. I'm sure someone thought it through. I put a little bit of Firebird targets on the first and second swinger, so let's go ahead and hit those real quick. Bam. Just trying to get creative. Got some Listerine bottles that are empty, filled with water, then food coloring, then explosives. That should hopefully put on some kind of a show. All right, I think we should try that again. I'm gonna say it again. Not once have I ever hit my truck or anybody else's. Don't worry, this thing's zeroed in. It's actually shooting a little bit high, but definitely not left. That's good. All right. Well, I wanted to kind of get through all the specs and everything like that in the beginning of the video, kind of tell you guys what's different about this AR-15 versus others. But when I make jokes about that, like, oh, it's another AR-15, and so to make content on them, usually you have to shake it up a little bit. I thought this one would do all the talking. Sometimes also just because the way it looks. I don't know if this is gonna do it any justice. That anodizing, that color of that receiver is just insane. Also, through pictures and other videos, I thought that color contrast between this, I don't even know what to call it, that bronze, almost champagne color on OD green looked, we'll call it interesting. As soon as I went to go pick it up, I loved it. So, I mean, it's definitely a little different. It's a little loud. It's just super cool. I love it. It's definitely, I think I could say, it's my nicest AR-15. If we're just talking about componentry. No, it's not a Grand Thumb style high round count kind of video. Nah, I'm just doing first impressions, and well, they're pretty good. So Blackout Defense, you guys may have heard of them, maybe not. I'm seeing a lot of people start reviewing them as of late, so they're starting to reach out to more people like myself. But yeah, they supply the gun just because you guys like that disclosure, but that doesn't buy my opinion. The thing's running sweet and it looks good, so usually that's enough for me. But yeah, that does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Take care.